All right, it's Media Day time, 19-6A. We are discussing, and we got the man, Katy head coach Gary Joseph. Coach, 19-6A has been your baby, except for 2 years ago, where you kind of handled that district. But you're getting a couple new teams in this year. I mean, you go from playing the usuals, but you add Pato and Jordan as well. So talk to me about how you feel the landscape of this district needs to be surveyed.
Well, it's gotten a little bit tougher, just because we had two other, Katy schools, and I know that Pato is excited about moving up, and as they should be. They had a tremendous season last year and things. It's going to be good, and I know Jordan has been one of the schools that people have pointed at and saying they'll be an up and comer and things. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. Their first year, 5A football, 6A football and stuff and things. Like I said, I think, that the district from top to bottom will be stronger than what it has been. So, the district has had a lot of success in the playoffs in the last several years. So, like I said, it's going to make it where, you have to be ready to compete. The bad thing about playing a 9-team district, you got 2 non-district games. You better be ready to go early on and stuff. That's what we're facing right now is the sense of urgency has got to be there a lot earlier. You can't really afford the missteps and mishaps, like you possibly could have, when you had 3 or 4 non-district games. So it makes it a little bit tough for everybody.
You bring up the 2 non-district games, and of course you guys have Clear Springs, who you played a few years in a row here, but Atascocita being the second game. Talk about that one and how excited you are to play that just before you go into district play.
Well, I guess it's what non-district's for is to help you prepare for your district, and if we have weaknesses, I'm sure they'll expose us. They've played us very tough before when we played them and things. And, they've got a good program. They one of those programs and teams in the Houston area that they'll be there every year in and out of the playoffs until it's stumped in there. And we understand what we're facing with them. They're very talented. Got a very talented district that are in right now and things. So, they're in the North Shore and Summer Creek and Sea King and stuff. So, they've got to prepare for a really challenging district up and down and stuff. So we know, that that's going to be a game with a telltale game. It's going to, let us know. And, the tough thing about that is we follow that one up with Wetumpka and stuff. So that it's going to make it, like I said, it's going to make the changes we're going to have to make and things. And be in a hurry to sit there and do them. Hopefully we sit there and come out and play well in both of them. That's what we're playing these games for. It's exciting to sit there and get to play against people like that.
Well, you were certainly ready for district play last year. I know people around Texas were that COVID year. Anything could have happened, and Tompkins ended up getting a win against you, and they're pretty excited about that. And then we go into last year, and nobody came within 35 points of you during district play, so you kind of handled your business last year. Talk about being back on top, and you're back. Not only are you back on top, but you went to state 2 years ago too. So I don't want to talk too much about Tompkins and all that. You got back on top real quick there, but for the running game, and you have Seth Davis coming back, and you have what I like to call the best play action quarterback I've seen in a while with Caleb Coger. I know that's part of your offense is doing the play action passes, but the way he hides that ball, man, I haven't seen a quarterback. He fakes me out, and I'm way up top watching it from the bleachers. But kind of talk a little bit about your offense and how you hope to maintain that top spot there.
Well, that's been our identity forever, is just to be able to sit there and do that. And Caleb now fixing to be a 3-year starter and things. So we expect him to be even better than what he had. Of course, Rich, our quarterback coach, has done an outstanding job with him. Now after you've done this a couple of years, you can get, more detailed in what you're coaching and what you're teaching. And hopefully we can do a few more different things. It still starts up front. We graduated, about, 4 seniors last year, but played up front for us quite a bit. Have a couple of them coming back, and that's going to help us and things. And basically have, 2 offensive starters in the line coming back, and that helps. Have our tight end coming back. And, and that definitely going to help. But we have a couple other kids that play quite a bit. having Seth, it just it's one of those things where, hopefully we can get him into the second level like we did last year. Because he's awfully dangerous when he gets to the second level and things. But like I said, it's up to those kids up front to get him there and things. But the play action pass complements our running game, and that's what you have to sit there and be able to do is complementary. Hopefully, don't get into a lot of third and long situations where people know we're going to pass, but hope our offensive line, our scrimmage, is going to eventually be good enough to sit there and handle that kind of stuff. But like I said, that's the bad thing about playing district games. 30 games of the season, it's the same for everybody in our district. So we're not complaining. But yeah, Caleb is going to be a good football player, and I'm looking forward to the progress he makes and stuff. We don't have as many returning receivers as he had last year, but we've got a couple of good ones. You do a good job.
Maybe talk a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. Boy, your secondary looks pretty strong there with Parrish and Hall and Inglet back there. Talk about how you're hoping to shut down that opposing team's offensive aerial attack.
Well, it's one of the things that they are returning and stuff. They kind of got it exposed a little bit by Westlake, and last year we didn't do a really good job of tackling. We didn't do a real good job of covering, and when we were there, but those kids are going to be okay. And things. We've got a couple of new kids that were playing a corner and things and stuff, and we need to be good in the back end. But no matter how good you are in the back end, it still starts up front, because it's people that can go drop back to pass, and you ask the pros that no quarterback in professional football is going to sit there and be not good if he's not giving protection and stuff. If we can get the pressure on the passer, then it will help those kids back in that stage. And that's where we've got a lot of growing up to do. And the difference in the last 10 years or last 15 years is everybody's got good quarterbacks now, and everybody's is going to throw the football and go around and stuff. And that's the great thing about what we do is it's a little bit different, and so people don't see it, week in and week out, like we see the spread offense week in and week out. So it's going to help, that these kids back there have a little experience and stuff, but it's up to them to help the ones up front that don't.
You guys, 2 years ago, you won state. You probably had a glorious offseason, getting ready for the next year. And last year, 14-0 into that last loss. And unfortunately, the way the playoffs work, you get hit with the loss, and you got to stick with that during the whole offseason. And it probably wasn't a very pleasant taste in your mouth. But is that used as a motivational force through the offseason, maybe to lift even more weights and get stronger and better to make sure that you don't have to feel like that again?
Well, I hope we don't ever have to feel like that again. Just the way we, to have such a successful year and end it the way it did, and it, not playing at our best and things. You never want to lose a game, but you really don't want to lose when you don't play well and things. And they left a bad taste in our coach's mouth. I can tell you that and stuff. And Westlake was a fine football team. You take nothing away from them and stuff. It's just. We as a staff and as a team expected to perform better than what we did. But like I said, take nothing away from them. They had a good football team. Yes, that was, I hate to use a negative to motivate our kids and stuff too. We always tell them, it's about the next one and stuff and things. And it's about this year now and things. They'll have, if we ever get to that point again, in football season, or, playing week 15, we're going to know that we're going to have to be prepared, and we're going to have to sit there and execute and things, sit there and do it. You look back on the game, there was a lot of fundamental errors and stuff that we're really not known to do. Like I said, that's part of it. We make no excuses and things, But yeah, you don't want to dwell on the negative either. So yeah, we as a coaching staff, we know.
You're definitely, part of us feels a little bad for Clear Springs because they'll be ready to go. You guys will definitely be ready to go at it when game one starts, I'm sure. And then you talk about 19-6A, one last talking about that. I mean, it's arguably probably one of, if not the best district in the state for 6A. I mean, I'm sure 5-6A may argue that a little bit with the Allens and the Geyers and whatnot, but the fact that you guys have 8 games to play, and you talked about Tompkins, you talked about Pato, but you also have Cinco Ranch with that up-and-coming quarterback, Rutherford, and then you got Seven Lakes, and you got a whole mess in there. It's going to be a week-to-week battle, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how you can survey it, but you got the plan for it.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think that all these coaches are looking forward to it and things. You know, and nothing's ever given in this district. You know, you have to go out and earn it, and hopefully it prepares you for the playoffs and things. But you're correct. I think that Cinco is going to be better. Beto they feel like they're going to be really good, and just the next step in their progression. And Tompkins, and they're going to be very good. And like I said, take nothing away from May Creek and Ward Ranch. They have good athletes over there, I think, and stuff. So, and from top to bottom, you're going to have to play. There's a lot of districts in the state, that are good and great and stuff. It's a matter of performing that week. And what's so important and people don't understand is it's not about just your starters, it's about depth. And that's one of the things that having non-district games allowed us to do is create depth and stuff. We're not going to win this thing with 22 people and stuff. We're going to have some depth, because it's like last year we had a lot of injuries, a lot of nitpicking injuries. Hopefully we can grow out of those a little bit. But you're going to have some depth in this district and stuff to sit there and be able to perform week in and week out. And that's what you look forward to. Hopefully, what the summer's for is to try to help you create that depth. What non-districts for, but right now, it's going to be a dogfight between everybody and stuff. And everybody feels very confident about their chances, which they should. And that's what makes it a great game, and it makes it a great district. Because you're going to be challenged each and every week.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to get this thing started. I know we still got a couple months left, but I appreciate you joining with us, Coach, and we'll talk with you down the line.
I appreciate that. Talk to y'all later.